this is my guide on the shape. As such, we will start with his power and his base stats. His power is called the Evil Within. He has 3 different tiers within this power. In his starting tier, he has a sprint speed that is only 105. This is lower than most other killers in the game. In his second tier, he has a speed of 115, and this also applies to his third tier. This is actually the normal speed for a killer. While he's within his first tier, his tear radius is 6, but as he progresses onward to his next tiers, his tear radius gets bigger, and then becomes 16, and then finally at tier 3, 32. 6 as a tear radius is amazing. It's very small. 16 is really good too, as it is quite small compared to other killers, and 32 is about the normal tear radius for some of the more better killers, such as the Hillbilly. As well as his vaulting speed and his lunge increases. In his very first tier, he starts with a lunge that is quite small, but in his second tier, it's normal, and his third tier has one of the best lunges in the entire game. His vaulting speed is really nice too. Those are some really big pros to him. You'll realize that you vault over stuff quickly, and you'll realize that your lunge is insane. While his first form is very underwhelming, as you do go significantly slower, in his third form, you are able to instantly down survivors. Some add-ons will actually allow you to instantly kill survivors, but we'll go over that in the add-ons section of this video. Next, I will do the add-ons. We will go ahead and go over the worst add-ons possible, and then I'll just go through the list of the add-ons, and then I'll give you the iridescent add-ons, or the ultra rare add-ons. You could read all of them and pause the video, but I'm going to go over why I specifically think the hair bow and the mirror shot aren't really good. The mirror shot is very situational, and the hair bow, it's like you only have so many points in general, but it's going to increase the amount of points, which the points are how long you could, or how much you could stalk one specific survivor. Each survivor will have X amount of points depending on what you decided to do, as in, like, if you equip one of the better add-ons that makes you stalk faster, then you'll have more points because you're going to stalk faster. But that's going to reduce the amount of points, and you're going to be in the mode longer, so your tear radius in general is going to be bigger, so then it's going to be harder for you to hide. At the same time, you're most likely not going to find anyone, so basically you're warning yourself of, you're warning the survivors of your presence. At the same time, you're likely not going to be able to find any because they're going to be hiding, so it just in general isn't really good. And the other 2 perks that you previously saw, those were mainly just for meme builds. They just increase the amount of blood points you get for doing specific actions. At the same time, they totally limit what you could do as him. These next series of add-ons are for his better add-ons. The jewelry box is more of a filler add-on, so you would put that if you don't really have anything. The memorial are arguably one of his best add-ons for him. The tombstone piece is really good too. It allows you to kill survivors. And the last but not least, Judas Journal. It's more, what do you call it? Situational, but if you run the correct perks and stuff with it, it could become really good. Next up are his ultra rare add-ons, or iridescent, whichever name you prefer. Judas Tombstone and a Fragrant of Tough Hair together allow you to be a tier 3 Jason that insta-kills everyone around. There's a big drawback though, that is you have to almost stalk everyone completely. That takes a very long time. If you don't use Judas Tombstone with Fragrant Tough Hair, you actually cannot remain in your what do you call it? Your tier 3 the entire time. So you have to be using Judas Tombstone with the Fragrant Tuft of Hair. You can't use it with the Tombstone piece. Combined, it's really devastating if you're not getting a gen rushed, but combined at the start of a match, if you're getting gen rushed, it's very hard to get to tier 3, and even then it's hard to kill people because the last one could use a hatch while you're killing the last person. But yeah. Alright, now I'll be going over the killer's unique add-ons. Save for the best for last is the first one. It is really good, in my opinion. It's used in a lot of meta builds. Basically allows you to hit super duper fast. If it's a successful hit, I mean recover super fast. And it can save you a lot of time. The next one is play with your food, and I personally don't like this. I've only seen it actually been used in specific builds effectively, but it's really unreliable. And the last is Dying Light. Dying Light can be good if you have like a Mori or something, or if you're using a specific killer that's able to really down survivors quickly. But really, I think this perk just really encourages tunneling, and tunneling is good as an opportunistic strategy, but when you have to do it and you're forced to, it could really damage you as the killer, as then you're giving off time for the what do you call it, survivors. But I guess if you have the right things equipped, or you're really good at a specific killer that's able to like insta down, like the nurse for example, then it's manageable. But I don't really use that on anyone but the hillbilly, and that's only as a filler perk I would use that. Next, jumping straight into the general tips I would give for the specific killer. Well, to start off, I would have to say that the hardest part about playing the shape is going to have to be the beginning of the game. Finding people you would want to do quite quickly, preferably before the very first gen happens, because depending on what type of survivor you have to stalk, or in general the survivors that you are stopping, or yeah, stalking, not stopping, then it's going to waste your time for the very beginning of the game. Now, in this specific clip here, as you see, these survivors just immediately let me just stalk them, so I was able to get my first tier, or second tier, quickly, but in general, a lot of survivors won't be like that. One good thing is also, if you go ahead and, what do you call it, if you are still in tier 1, but you're at the very, very end of your bar, or your gauge, to where you could immediately just pop your next tier, it's good to sneak up on a person and then slap them once if they don't know that you're there, and then turn to your second tier, because you get off a free hit, all the same while you're going towards your next tier. So, you're basically gonna only have to hit them one more time, instead of your normal 2. That gives them less chance to go to pallets that are farther away, as they won't be expecting the burst it, so they're likely gonna waste their sprint burst, or at least fumble it a little bit before they get it off. In general, the main strategy that most players will be using while as Michael is they will go ahead and use, or they'll fill their bar up, or their gauge, I don't know what you exactly want to call it, I guess your evil within meter, and they will go ahead and just wait until it's at the very, 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 like, point, and then they'll pop it off whenever they think it's a good time. I personally like to wait until there's at least more than one player in front of me, because as said previously, about one of the add-ons, the hair series add-ons, you're only going to be able to be in your mode so long, so you can only find so many survivors at a time, and it does increase your radius, so yeah, it's just in general not really good to it's not good to have your power on forever, and you're going to lose it eventually, so everyone's going to hide from you. So, yeah, that's really all there is to playing this specific killer. There's nothing more than it. He's a very effective killer, can be very hard. I think it is worth the note, as you can see in my loadout in this match. I have Brutal Strength, I have Barbecue and Chili, I have Sloppy Butcher, and I have Enduring. The reason why I have Enduring and Brutal Strength, well, normally you're only going to want to use one of those, but, you know, I just really don't like pallets, so I have both of them. You're going to want at least one of them in a normal build, as he is going to have to break through pallets, because besides for the insta-down capabilities, he is basically a normal killer. Barbecue and Chili is used for mainly every killer in the game. I mean, it's Barbecue and Chili. It allows you to see players far away, and it basically gives you 2 times the blood points. Sloppy Butcher is a really, really good perk too. It will just slows the game down. They have to take longer to heal, and that's why I have that. So basically, I would recommend you have a pallet perk, and I would recommend you have barbecue, and sloppy butcher is optional, but that's a good recommendation. You could also use save the best for last. In general, anything that helps you down survivors quickly, at the same time get closer to survivors, and get through pallets, you're gonna really want. Definitely though, you're gonna want to have enduring or brutal strength. You can choose which one, but at least one of them, as again, those pallets can be very unforgiving, especially when you're going against a survivor who knows what they're doing, and you activate your tier 3 and he actually hits you with the pallet, or something happens and generally somehow the survivor is quote-unquote safe. It really helps with that. But yeah, I think that's all there really is to this. Killer, there's nothing really I can tell. Play him like a normal killer, use the 2 tips, or the 2 main strategic tips that I gave you at the beginning of this gameplay, and you'll do well. Or at least, if you don't do well, then over time you will do well. Killers take practice, and this killer is basically a normal killer, so you still have to worry about pallet looping and everything else like that. So, yeah. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day, or morning, or night, whenever you watch this. Actually, there's actually one more tip that I could actually give you. It is when a survivor's about to either window vault or especially pallet drop, you could actually stock them for a good chunk of your what do you call it? A good chunk of your evil within gauge tier, whatever, the juice that you get from them. That is actually one of those times where it's really good. Generally, whenever a survivor is doing an action that they can't take back or will be a bit of time, like cleansing a totem that you don't need, or unhooking a survivor, then that is a really good time, as these actions take a lot of time for them to do, or if they don't take a lot of time, like they're dropping a pallet, then they are just very good for you, because you'll like get a good chunk. You get like, I don't know, like 10% to like 25% of your bar, and if you're using add-ons that make it go faster, then you will get add-ons that, if you're using like the memorial add-ons, then it'll go even faster, and you can get like 50%, like if you had like the Judas General and Memorial on at the same time. So, yeah. I will see you guys later.